My name is Tasha Stevens. I'm an integrative clinical nutritionist, certified personal trainer, and founder and CEO of Happy Hormone Health.
What inspired you to create Happy Hormone Health?
So a very long and frustrating health journey, honestly. I struggled with a number of symptoms, honestly, my entire life. When I was 14, I had a surgery that went wrong. And so I ended up going septic in the hospital. And after that, like my health was just a wreck. Literally, I was exhausted. I had skin rashes. My stomach was always sick. And, you're in high school, right? And you're telling your doctors this, and they're like, oh, whatever, it's normal. It's fine. It's normal. And it wasn't until I was 19 that I was diagnosed with my first two autoimmune conditions. And I finally felt like, oh, okay, I got this like flicker of hope. Like maybe I'll figure it out. Like maybe there's things will be better. And then a few years later, my health just collapsed again. And I was already graduated with a degree in clinical nutrition. I was like, I know that this isn't normal. This can't be. Come to find out that I had three other undiagnosed autoimmune conditions. And for women, there is a huge connection between autoimmunity and hormones. And women have a very unique hormone cycle that we move through. And so it was actually the imbalances of my hormones, the trauma of that surgery years ago that triggered these autoimmune conditions. And it's through changing how I ate and how I moved my body and how I rested my body is actually how I manage all six of my conditions now. I got another one after pregnancy. Go figure, but without any medication. And so seeing how that changed my life, I wanted to be able to help inspire other women to take control of their health, truly.
Yeah, with all that going on with your physical health, how was it with your mental health?
It was hard and lonely. I think a lot of people, and again, especially I can only speak for women. That's right. That's the thing I know. But a lot of women, we are told for the majority of our life to kind of, suck it up, right? We're told it's normal to feel crappy once a month for your period. We're told that it's normal to feel cranky, moody, emotional. All of these symptoms have been normalized. And, I also was struggling with a ton of invisible symptoms. Like seemingly I was a healthy woman. Like seemingly I was a normal person, but mentally I was anxious all the time because I didn't know if I was going to have an attack while I was with a client at work and if I had to call out. Like I was depressed because I was supposed to be feeling my best, right? When this was happening, I was like young and 20. You're supposed to be like on top of the world, out doing all the things. And I was at home in bed sleeping 14 hours a day. And so for a really long time, not only because of my symptoms, but also because of that, systemic disruption in my body, I struggled with anxiety and I struggled with depression. Um, and it was and truly has been the most empowering thing of my life to recognize that like when we control our health, we control our destiny. And it's like it seems, you know, seems kind of like what that's just bullshit, BS,
Yeah.
fluff from the health industry, but it's not because how you fuel your body, how you rest your body, how you move your body accepts that. And then it says like, hey, I can do something and I can be my best self because you're loving me and you're nourishing me. And that freedom there, right? That helped to overcome all of the anxiety and depression and all of that because I felt empowered, really.
What are some of the things you do to help other people's journey?
Yeah. So for women, I think one of the biggest areas that to start is to recognize that and I'm going to say this for men too. It's never normal to experience symptoms. And I think of that, right? Like symptoms can be common, right? Symptoms can be something that other people experience, but they are never normal. They are your body's way of telling you that something is wrong. It's saying like, "Hey, I need support. I'm sounding an alarm. Like, help me out." And so that's one of the first places that we start when working with, our clients or even just like educating my community is helping them understand like, hey, yes, you can have this symptom, but you don't have to suffer with it. This is what it means. And giving them that education and that empowerment to say like, okay, I have really, heavy periods and I'm very anxious all the time. Like, oh, okay, that's linked to estrogen imbalance or like, oh, okay, I have a lot of gut, pain and disruption that can be leaked to leaky gut, right? Or a food sensitivity. So really helping them learn to understand what that means in their body and how to be proactive and to support that. And, not just saying like, oh yeah, okay, well now I know this, but like, oh, okay, I can eat this food, or I could maybe try to incorporate this type of vegetable to help rebuild my gut flora or whatever it might be. Um, and then also really, really honing in on how do you fuel your body for optimal health, right? There's been so much diet culture, marketing and brainwashing out there that we have to eat less food, that we should cut out this food. Food's bad. This food's bad. And, this eating kale is going to cure everything, right? Really helping people that understand what nutrition is at its core. It's the power to sustain your body for life, to fuel your body to sustain life. And so you really can eat anything in moderation if you know how to do so in a way that fuels your best health and self. So that's kind of where we start and where I would recommend anywhere start on that journey is that recognizing, okay, hey, this is not normal and I have the power to do something about it. And this is how I do something. And then, hey, I don't have to diet. There's no such thing as a diet. Like I don't have to restrict foods. If I just focus on nourishing and eating enough, that helps to unlock my best health.
When you're working with people, do you see their confidence rise as they start understanding what they need to put in their own bodies?
Absolutely. I feel you feel confident, right? I mean, come on, like have you ever had a day where you're like you just feel good, right? You're like everything's jiving. Like I feel awesome. It feels like the like sea is parting for you. And that's kind of what happens when you start to nourish your body, right? Like you wake up and you actually have energy when you get out of bed, right? And then your day comes along and you feel, oh yeah, I can get this task done. And I felt like focused when I did it, right? All of those little things change people's confidence in an insane way. And so it's really cool to watch people really unlock their best self when they see like, oh, okay, like I'm just eating enough. I'm just fueling my body. Like I'm just giving my body fuel and everything else in their life transforms as as a follow through. And I say it in my own business, right? When I was my sickest, when I was struggling with my autoimmunity and my anxiety, like I was terrible at my job. Like I hated my job. I could barely get through the workday. I had all of this dissatisfaction in my, career, in my relationships, in my friendships. The minute I just shifted my focus to, healing my body, guess what? All of a sudden I became really good at my job. And then I opened a, multi six-figure company that I never would have had the energy to manage because I had that, right? I started to attract people who were like-minded, who liked my energy. And I ended up having better friendships with these people because I was attracting the right energy because I was exuding it. And my relationships healed with my partner because I actually felt good and confident and happy in myself. And that translated to how I showed up in our relationship. And so it's amazing to watch other people's lives do that too. And that's why I say like it's sometimes not anything else. It's truly, it starts with you and how you're fueling your body.
What do you do to help your own mental health?
Oh, That's loaded with everything. I think everything. I've been anxiety medication free now for 8 years. So making sure that I support my own mental health is a really big part of this. Um, Obviously, like I don't think it's gonna shock anyone when I say this answer, but making sure that I eat enough is really critical. Anytime that we start to feel this anxiety, this overwhelm, things like that, it's typically an alarm as your body is responding to cortisol. So cortisol is our stress hormone. As cortisol spikes, it leads to this crazy blood sugar disruption, and the highs and lows of your blood sugar, those like spike and then drop, that's what leads to like energy crashes, feeling anxious, shaky, overwhelmed, and it kind of overstimulates your sympathetic nervous system. So anytime I start to feel that anxiety from like whatever it might be, I go and I make sure that I actually eat some carbohydrates. So something like bread, or I'll eat like potatoes, or I'll eat, sweet potato, because that can bind to your serotonin receptors, which is your calm, your happy hormone. And it can help to improve serotonin production and bindings and actually ease anxiety in the moment. It's amazing. And then I love to work out. And in fact, movement helps to increase dopamine production, which is that like happy hormone. Actually, you can become like addicted to the dopamine hit. That's what drugs do. But regular movement helps to regulate cortisol, and so ensures that you don't have prolonged high levels of cortisol forever, and it actually improves dopamine production in the moment, so it can help to calm you immediately. So making sure that I eat well and I continue to move is one of the best ways that I manage anxiety overall. But also disconnecting. I like don't go on social media for anything other than my business. I turn my phone on do not disturb all the time. It's a perpetual state of cannot be disturbed. um, and then making sure that like I love to read and get lost in a fiction book, just gone. So making sure that you create that time and space for yourself and your body to rest is my favorite way to support my mental health.
So where do you want to see your organization in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I'm a big dreamer. And my husband tells me I have a great visionary perspective. I got big, big goals. We've coached 2,000 women this far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm so amazingly thankful for all of the women that I've been able to support that on their journey. I would love to coach, another 1,000. I'd love to be able to share this. We've coached women across the world. Like I have clients all over the world. Um, that I'd love to get, more women engaged in this. I'd love more women to recognize the power of their hormones, to recognize where they can take action. I'd love to author a book. I'm in the process of trying to write one. So a lot of big dreams going on. But truly my goal overall is the more women that I could teach to empower their own health, the more women that I can help them recognize that they have the power to change their life by just changing how they nourish their body. Like that's the end goal, honestly.
What are some of the things you've learned from the women you helped?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned from women, right, um, is that we're stronger than we give ourselves credit for. So many women I feel come to me in this space where they're like, I've tried it all, I can't do it. And they have this almost like negative perception of themselves, right? Because they're like, oh, things haven't worked in the past. And it breaks my heart because I'm like, no, think about the fact that you're still here. Like you are still fighting for your health. You're still fighting for answers. Like that's not a failure, right? There's no such thing as a failure as long as you actually don't quit, right? And so I think what I've learned from these women is that, we're exceedingly resilient. These women are mothers, they are in careers, they are running their household, all while feeling less than amazing. And I'm like, look at how powerful you are showing up at 50%, right? Imagine how you can tap into that power when you're at 100, when you feel great. And also, cut yourself some, cut yourself some slack. Like that's not failure that you've tried all of these things beforehand and you just haven't found that right one for you. It's just that you are still learning and growing in your journey. And so women are strong. They are amazing. And I think I've seen so many people from different walks of life overcome amazing mental health challenges, amazing health challenges, things like that. And it's just inspiring. It really is.
How can people reach out and learn more?
Yeah, so I think the best way to get started is I am super active on even though I hate social media personally, I'm super active on my Instagram and my TikTok, and I always love to connect with everyone. I have a lot of amazing free information there. I also have a free hormone assessment that women can take. So it helps them answer all of these questions about their unique symptoms, and it'll identify the hormones that are the top priority and it gives a completely customized blueprint strategy of what habits to implement to kickstart that journey. And I think that's always the best place to go because it's tailored to their needs and it gives them tangible nutrition habits, lifestyle habits, and strength habits or workout habits to just dive into. So you can get that on my website at www.happyhormonehealthllc.com.